The Senate on Friday passed the new Firearms, Prohibition, Restriction and Regulation Act 2022 with 17 amendments. The legislation establishes a clear distinction between firearms that are prohibited or unregulated and firearms that are duly authorized or registered. The bill also outlines, among other things, objectives that speak to establishing a framework that prohibits firearms and ammunition that are illicitly traded. The framework will also regard the possession of those prohibited firearms and ammunition as the foundation on which other heinous and violent crimes are committed. Closing the debate, Minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation, Senator Matthew Samuda, said the bill will issue punishment in proportion to the crime.
For those who have been caught, the penalty did not match the crime, and this bill deals with that issue.
He also noted that the legislation and its amendments address the strengthening of the operational issues, such as those made to Clause 101, which speaks to trial, punishment, proof, and records. In addition, under the new legislation, the Firearm Licensing Authority, FLA, will be established as a body corporate. The legislation will go back to the House of Representatives for its approval. The Jamaica Constabulary Force JCF says investigation is ongoing into a major drug seizure on Friday at the Ian Fleming International Airport in St. Mary. Cocaine weighing approximately 1,105 pounds and valued at over $25 million is believed to have been destined for Canada before it was intercepted. The operation was a joint effort between the JCF's Narcotics Division, the Counterterrorism and Organized Crime Investigations Branch, CTOC, along with law enforcement agents from the United States of America. Meanwhile, the significant dent in drug smuggling has been credited to the launch of Operation Relentless 2, which also took place on Friday. The initiative is a partnership with the Jamaica Defense Force, JDF, which targets police divisions with high levels of violent crimes. It also targets criminal gangs and gangsters who are involved in violent crimes or other aspects of the illicit gun trade. In addition, associated lottery scamming and narcotics activities, which fund these guns, are also being focused on. Police Commissioner Major General Anthony Anderson says a series of joint planning activities with the JDF, as well as plans developed at the JCF High Command, area and the divisional command levels, will be executed under Operation Relentless 2. He says manpower and mobility support is being allocated to the divisions of focus to resource the planned operations. The public can play their part by calling the JCF tip line at 811, Police Emergency at 119, or Crime Stop at 311. Jamaica is reiterating its call for a comprehensive, targeted approach to give small island developing states, SIDs, access to development financing. Prime Minister Andrew Holness echoed the plea as he delivered the island's address to the 77th session of the United Nations General Assembly, UNGA. Mr. Holness said despite Jamaica's efforts to drive down debt while building fiscal buffers and mainstreaming resilience, the country would still be forced to borrow to recover from economic shocks brought on by natural disasters. The resulting effects would see the island's debt increasing with no guarantee that another climatic event might soon wipe out all the gains that have been made. The Prime Minister therefore urged the global financial architecture to incorporate vulnerability as the basis for access to financing. Without this acknowledgement, Mr. Holness says, SIDs and some middle-income countries will continue to struggle to meet the Sustainable Development Goals.
We fully support the work of the high-level panel developing the Multidimensional Vulnerability Index. We eagerly anticipate an era of truly equitable access to concessional financing and other funding support, which will enable us to invest in resilient infrastructure and create fiscal buffers so that we can withstand and recover quickly from the next economic, health, or climate shock with little borrowing.
In the meantime, Prime Minister Holness is urging world leaders to honor their commitments to the Paris Agreement on climate change.
We call on all countries to meet their commitments and contributions to climate targets. And we call on the developed world to increase their commitments and ambitions in climate financing, particularly for adaptation and loss and damage.
The Conference of Parties to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, more commonly known as COP27, will be held in Egypt between November 6 and 18. The agreement calls for an environmental pact which will limit greenhouse gas emissions, which has been known to change weather patterns across the globe. Prime Minister Holness said climate change is an immediate existential threat to Jamaica, noting that a single climate event could wipe out 100% of the island's economy in a few hours. Jamaicans can expect moderate to heavy rainfall across several sections of the island until Tuesday. The inclement weather is due to the outer bands of Hurricane Ian, which passed off the coast of Negril Point in Westmoreland earlier today. Local weather conditions have been impacted by the system since Saturday. A flash flood warning is now in effect for 10 of the island's 14 parishes, with flooding and landslides being experienced in sections of the island. Several schools have been ordered closed, and the National Works Agency has been clearing blocked roads in some parishes. And finally, the Ministry of Health and Wellness is advising persons of safety measures to be taken in light of the inclement weather. Food items should not be stored with chemicals such as kerosene, bleach, detergents, or insect sprays. Water should be stored in a clean container and covered tightly to prevent mosquito breeding. In addition, persons with chronic illnesses are reminded to take their medication with them in the event that they have to go to a place of shelter. Plus, pregnant women who are within 1 month of their delivery dates should relocate to a place that is in close proximity to a hospital or delivery center. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.